Joining me now is Roland Gutierrez. He is a Democratic state senator from Texas. He visited with President Biden in Uvalde. Thank you so much, Senator, for talking to us. Where would you begin if you had to pinpoint the first mistake here, and what kind of accountability would you like to see?
So I think that the first mistake probably came at 12:03, and I believe at 12:03 was the time when we had 19 officers. Even before then, quite frankly, you had 7 in the hallway. Those 7 that were the first ones to arrive, that consisted of local police as well as school district police, were basically repelled. That doesn't matter. You know, the protocol says you go in regardless. You had 911 calls coming in from children saying, we're still alive, we're inside, please come in. At 12:03, we have 19 officers in that hallway. At that point, I want to know which officers from which agencies were there. It is easy for people to point fingers at the local school district police chief, and certainly he did completely the wrong thing here. But we have to look at these other agencies as well that had higher firepower, higher manpower. At what point does it not become their turn to take operation control? Now, that might not be the policy now, but going forward into the future, we need to be looking at that.
Absolutely. You met with a mother, I understand, whose daughter might have lived if she had medical attention sooner. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, these days have been, so difficult out here talking to families, having these discussions, and I've tried to be very respectful of them, give them the space that they need. In this one instance, this little girl was shot through the back, possibly through the kidney. 1 round. Most, unfortunately, had a different fate. But 1 round for this little girl, likely bled out. Had we had law enforcement going in there earlier, this little girl might have lived. And so we really have to evaluate this thing. And there must be accountability at every level. It is not right to just put it on the local agency with 6 cops. There was the next agency that had 40 cops. There was the next agency that had thousands of cops, not here, but certainly along the border. Then the federal government come in, and they waited a little bit. And then finally one of them says, we're going in. And so at what point should not have the first guy said, the hell with it, we're going in? That's what policy dictates. Right. That didn't happen here. It just didn't happen.
You know, the suspect is dead. The parents want justice. They will never get justice. This suspect and murderer will never pay for what he did. The question now lies in accountability. Who is held accountable? What does accountability look like to you?
It's far beyond the law enforcement circle. Session after session, we've talked about these mass shootings. Greg Abbott has about 5 or 6 of them under his belt. He's done nothing. And he likes to talk about the school hardening we did in 2019. A lot of good that did these kids over here. The fact is, session after session, we go back and they give greater accessibility to militarized weapons to people. Young people, you have to be 21 to buy a 9mm handgun, but you can be 18 to buy an AR-15. That makes no sense. And when I talk to Republican constituents, they say that makes no sense. Around the United States, people will tell you that's just crazy. And so we can have waiting periods. We can have red flag laws. We have to create change now. You ask where accountability begins in Texas, it begins with Greg Abbott, it begins with a Republican-controlled House, the Republican-controlled Senate, and every leadership every leader in the leadership level. It is the absence of leadership to have a problem staring you in the face and do nothing.
And sadly, there are red flag laws, and like in the state of New York, for example, with the Buffalo school shooting, that don't prevent these shootings from occurring. So red flag laws need to be ironclad. Something needs to be done, because even red flag laws sometimes, unfortunately, do not save lives. We must do better. Senator, thank you so much, Senator Roland Gutierrez. We appreciate you coming on and taking the time. Thank you.